Welcome to Adaptation, the book to movie podcast. I'm Nate.
And I'm Chris.
And today we have a special guest to discuss Homer's The Odyssey with us. We have Greg, Chris's buddy Greg.
Hi, Greg. Long-time listener, first-time talker. Glad to be here.
You are not a first-time talker. Maybe first time on a mic, but
first time in years. Recorded talker.
Okay, I told him before we started, every guest we have said, feel free to talk. You can't talk too much. And then I stopped and said, well, you might be the exception.
You know what? We signed up for what we signed up for. So
100%.
Yeah. Like I said, today we're here to talk about The Odyssey, as well as Christopher Nolan's latest adaptation. But before we do that, what have you been reading, Chris?
Yeah, I was just telling Greg, I've had a couple of kind of strange sleepless nights in the last 2 weeks where for no reason I was just up from midnight to 6 a.m. So I have been on a tear. I actually made it through, since we last recorded, Naruto. I don't know. I assume you've watched that, Greg.
The show?
Yeah.
A little.
I wanna read it before I watch it. So I tracked down a copy of the first one. Absolutely delightful.
There's like 5 episodes.
Read it backwards. Dungeon Crawler Carl, which we've talked about previously, and hopefully will be adapted soon. That would be a really fun one to discuss.
That'd be fun.
And then also, actually, I think this is an adaptation as well. Gone Girl, Gillian Flynn.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I have an idea for that one.
Okay. That book was, oh my gosh, 4 a.m. Sitting in my boxers creepy. At my kitchen, pounding poor tea.
Yeah.
Reading that book, I was like disassociating from the world. I had to go sit out on the fire escape and smoke a pipe. I was like, this is...
I had to layer one more substance in.
Well, I had to go touch grass.
One more setting. Yeah,
that's the fire escape outside my third floor window is as close as I can get to touching grass. It's Brooklyn, but
that's true.
Yeah. So that's been fun. I've had a real good tear of books in the last couple of weeks.
Okay, cool. What about you, Greg? Have you been reading lately, watching movies, anything like that?
Last movie I saw was Sheep Detectives.
Oh, that one's actually really good, and it's an adaptation.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Plus.
I have to assume it's a children's novel, but it's a really sweet movie. Sad, made me cry.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
I have a 2-year-old daughter, and she didn't watch it with me.
Oh,
just
that's
2
what
adults.
I was going to ask.
Oh,
just what? She was in bed. Just 2 adults. Like, let's get some huge jacked man and some Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, I did like that.
Lovely.
I wanted to put it on our list, but to cover this year, but I just could not make Chris read that book. I thought it was maybe a little stupider than it turned out to be. So jokes on me, actually,
That's crazy that's where you drew the line after some of the books that you've made me read.
Come on, every time you end up at least liking them.
That's a good point. That's a fair point. What about you? What have you been watching?
I saw, well, of course, The Odyssey was the other night, and The Invite. I've seen it a couple of times now. That movie would probably put you in a coma, Chris. I don't know if I recommend it.
The trailer gave me anxiety.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I know Blair's looking forward to it, so maybe that's a good girls' night one for her. But I think it's my favorite movie of the year. Maybe with the exception, spoiler alert, of the movie we're discussing today. But I loved it. I'm sort of in movie heaven right now. Yeah.
2 big statements. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good primer.
Yeah, it is. It took everything in my body not to text you when I got out of the movie the other night, because I was like, you've got 48 hours. Just save it. Save it for the podcast,
Yeah. Huh.
I'm stoked, though, to get into it. Yeah.
I assume you've seen the internet chatter.
Like, what chatter are you talking about? The people mad about the casting and stuff?
Not the casting. The book side of the internet is not pleased with Nolan's treatment of this text.
Really?
I think one of the headlines I saw was this protagonist is very much Christopher Nolan's character, not Homer's Odysseus.
Whoa. I haven't read the book in 100 years. I read it, I think, freshman year of high school, but that makes me sad that I think that's so wrong.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, I don't want to give anything up, but
I should have broken my own rule and watched it this time for the comparison. I'm so curious now.
Yeah, I am too. But why don't we dive in before we spoil too much of our own dessert here? And
yes,
Chris, tell us about the book. And Greg, I know we don't have to tell you, but feel free to jump in whenever a thought arises.
That shit-eating grin.
I'm waiting.
I chuckled to myself, and this is probably only funny to myself, but I'm going to tell you guys anyway. I was like, this is about as far from worried about spoilers as we could be. A 3,000-year-old story. Everybody knows.
Right, it's like this in the Bible.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, the Epic of Gilgamesh is argued to be earlier, but a less exciting read. Honestly, that would also be a great adaptation, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so the highlight reel, because this is also another hefty tome. I think this one was like $550. Again, believed to be written 7th or 8th century BC, just south of 3,000 years ago, however you slice it. Attributed to Homer. I think this argument's probably not terribly exciting audio for our listeners, but obviously we do not know for certain who authored this tale.
Right. Isn't there theories that it's several people, like worked together?
Yes. Yeah. And well, you know what? I'll just spit it all out now rather than waiting for it later. So we're talking, early Hellenic, Minoan, all of those cultures around the Aegean Sea. As happens so much in the tale, you have no fast news, right? You have no way for information to move quickly.
Right.
Almost certainly a predominantly illiterate society. This would not be the form that the average Greek 2,700 years ago consumed this tale, right?
Yeah.
So it is believed this is a morphing over time, predominantly oral tradition where this story would have changed, been passed down. Just like the Iliad, it is composed of 24 books that make up the larger book that we now in modern translations, it's like 100 chapters. So Homer is who it's attributed to. We do have some historical information about his life and everything, but in no stretch of the imagination did he just make this whole thing up and then write it down. Absolutely not possible. Was he the first one to write down a tale that would have been this household thing for everybody there? Sure, potentially. Yeah. But that's who we attribute it to. The scholarly belief at this point, and it'll be argued about ad nauseum in perpetuity, but he almost certainly did not write both of what are attributed to him, the Odyssey and the Iliad. But to a certain extent, why I say not worth arguing about, who cares?
Right? Yeah. It's so long ago, and the story has come to mean so many other things,
Exactly. But that's what we have. This is so fast. Everyone knows the plot, right? We hear the bulk of the tale from Odysseus's perspective. So we've talked about that often before. We have this first-person narration of an, may I say, suspect narrator. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Untrustworthy narrator.
Yeah. Clearly not. We have a lot of moral pros on his side throughout the tale, but probably as many moral cons, right? So I do think it's interesting that whoever wrote this down chose to present it in this fashion. Much of his 20-year-long quest to get home is told from his first-person view as he is sitting in the court of King Alcinous, relaying what's happened. He's the king of Ithaca, went to Troy to fight with Menelaus and Agamemnon, and then takes a real long time getting home.
Yeah.
Highlight reel. Trapped by the Cyclops.
Yeah.
This was honestly, probably one of the most fun parts in my mind right off the bat. Cyclops asks what his name is. He says, nobody.
Nobody. Mm-hmm.
So when they heat up a full pine tree trunk and gouge his eye out with it, his Cyclops friends come lumbering over and ask if he's okay. And he says, no, I'm not okay. I'm being attacked by nobody.
Brilliant. All right. Well, I'm going to...
Brilliant. 10 out of 10.
I guess we're good then. Yeah.
Yep. I obviously, like, fictional, they're Cyclopses. So much, like, why are we applying any logic? Just the idea of this happening in even a smaller microcosm of just knocking on the door. Hey, you all right in there? No, I'm arguing with nobody. But really fun. He's gifted a bag full of wind by Aeolus, but then his mutinous crew is jealous and want to see all of the loot that they've gotten. So within sight of Ithaca, they open the bag and the wind blows them all the way back away. Truly incredible. Circe turns his whole crew into pigs. Hilarious. They have to get by Scylla. Are we saying Scylla or Scylla? Six-headed rock.
Oh, I thought it was Scylla.
Scylla, yeah.
The Sirens famously has his men strap him to the mast so that he can listen while he stops up all of their ears with beeswax.
Yep.
Land on the island where Helios, the sun god, for some reason, has his precious herd of cattle, and he tells them not to eat them, obviously. Mutinous, horrible crew. Go and eat them all. Get in trouble with Zeus again.
Here's my theory. John, I wonder if that's why the book crew is pissed. What if they didn't get any sun cows? Nate, you don't have to spoil it.
Oh,
all right. Well, then they're full of shit.
And they are.
Right, well, I was trying to be charitable. They're full of shit.
Just choose one part.
My favorite part. It's like the Tom Bombadil of the Odyssey.
Yeah.
The sun cows.
Runtime. Well, I mean, there's a certain amount, obviously, first and foremost, incredible text, known for a good reason. But, this is so formulaic, not because it was written in a formulaic way, because this is the writing, right? Like, Beethoven did not write based on music theory. Modern music theory is based on how Beethoven wrote.
Yeah.
This is the same thing.
Right.
This is the original Hero's Quest.
Yes.
So there's a certain point where insert X, retract Y, hero, series of obstacles to get home and kill a bunch of men in his house, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's like all of these vignettes, these little chunks of story.
Yep.
It's like it's an oral comic book.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, all right, this issue he's killing sun cows. This issue, he's poking a Cyclops out. Like, and I'm sure that was how it was told, based on no reason. Yeah, well, Wikipedia research, but like, I'm an idiot. We know that. But it feels pretty reasonable. It feels reasonable to be like, someone would show up on your island and be like, hey, I'm going to tell a couple of Odysseus tales Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
It's like, well, shit, I could go down Friday. If he's any good, I'll come back Saturday, see the next one.
Yeah.
And it's these chunks.
Yep. Present
I'm
one
sorry,
one
I'm
night.
not kind of derailing your synopsis, but like...
No, I completely agree.
I think it's super interesting too. Some of the criticisms of the movie are that it feels episodic at times. And I was like, well, what? Yeah, of course it
should be.
It is episodic.
It's not. It's also, it's like you said, a lot of writing is based on this. So I'm like, I bet you the people sitting at the tavern listening to the story weren't complaining about it being episodic at the time. So it seems like a silly thing to get wound up in for me. Just the nature of it is, it's what it is. That's how stories are told.
It's one of the defining features of it. There are all of these repeated epithets, right? Just the word for it, epithets, where storm-tossed Odysseus, wine-red sea, or wine-dark sea, or whatever. Like, there are all of these repeated phrases.
Did you read my show notes?
No, sawed off. There are all these, like, repeated...
Whoa.
Don't interrupt. Like that was how it was memorized. Because the text itself is so huge, like my God, you're not going to tell the whole damn thing.
No, yeah.
In a weekend or whatever, you're going to tell an episode, and
one book.
You're gonna tell one of the, I'm gonna do 2-3 this night, 2-3 the next night. But all of these repeated things are mnemonic devices at a certain point for the person telling it, and it just stuck around in the actual text.
Yes, 100%. I was picturing it. They didn't have TV. They didn't have radio, right? You're sitting around the fire. I like to imagine, like, I wonder if there would be like a village that's like, oh yeah, have you guys caught that guy? He does book 6 so well. A little lacking once he gets to 8. Like that's what I like to picture.
Yeah, that's
I have no idea if that's realistic.
Well, there's got to be a certain amount of like you play the hits too.
Yeah, exciting parts.
Yeah, like all right, we're gonna do the part about the boring romance part, whatever. But yeah, I think there's a certain amount of that, and this I'm getting way ahead of ourselves. I think there's a certain amount of the whole story maintains its relevance because it has so many different, distinctly different.
A little something for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right, I'm done derailing.
No, you did not derail. You literally brought up the next thing in my notes. Repetition of key lines and phrases. Here are a few examples. Greg actually spotted a couple of them already. Young dawn with its rose red fingers. The nymph with the lovely braids. Their high ceilinged halls. On the wine dark sea. When they put aside desire for food and drink. And it kept sticking out to me, which it did not the first time. Again, as you said, Nate, we all read it 100 years ago. I think it is a completely different text as an adult.
Yeah, totally.
This repetition, for someone speaking it, imagine dude finishes one night. We all gather. We all go to work the next morning. We gather up again. He's going to start in on the next book. And here is the through line with, the monster of today swapped out. Yesterday was the Cyclops. We have all of this repeated terminology. Some of the research I was looking at compared these parts to, they considered these repetitions the heartbeat of the story, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So these would be the specific things in two ways. And what I think is so cool about these is this aspect in particular, I think is really what sets this aside as an epic poem as compared to a novel, something like that, where he can point to specific ideas, specific themes, right? He had a lot of information packed into that particular description of the nymphs compared to other individuals. And it unwinds in front of you as they keep doing the ridiculous things they do to Odysseus, right?
Right.
And it's just such a subtle way, because a lot of this, show don't tell. No one was saying that then, right?
No, exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. The conventions were so different.
Yes.
You can't critique it based on today's standards.
100%. No. But in this case, something that I think could be, if done more ham-fistedly, I think it would be annoying, where in this case, it tethers you between one, as you said, Greg, vignette to the next, right? Yeah, no, phenomenal transition there, Greg. You beat me to it, but that's fine.
I got one more thought actually on the epithet thing.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I do also wonder if, as the audience, are these things helpful? Man, I went down a rabbit hole about what the hell Pallas Athena.
Same.
Means. Nothing.
Oh my gosh. No, it does. Okay.
It does, but it doesn't really. No one can pinpoint. It's like, well, Pallas was her friend that she killed, and Pallas was a giant that she killed. It's like, it's just a name that stuck around. So, okay, that aside, these like terms to kind of clue you in on who we're dealing with. I forget what it was for Telemachus, but whatever, meek Telemachus or thoughtful Telemachus, whatever it was. You could even if you didn't remember the names, you probably remembered the epithet.
Yes.
And you probably had something to tie you to that, whatever, unwavering Penelope or whatever. Like, oh, all right, yeah, shit, that's his wife. Okay, duh. Yeah, I haven't heard that one in a year because I live on an island in the Peloponnese, whatever. But like, oh, yeah, unwavering Penelope. Okay. So I think they also help the people hearing it.
Yes. Yeah. They give you more information about each of those individuals, right? Even just that, the line, it was different than when they were out on the island scrounging for food, nearly starving to death. When they were comfy at home in someone's palace, being treated well, it would say, when they put aside desire for food and drink. Think about that sentence. Yeah. That is totally different than I ate a packet of ramen because I was hungry and in a hurry, right?
Yeah.
That is, we are chilling, having the good wine. This dinner's 4 hours. Mm-hmm. I'm not eating because I'm hungry. I'm eating because this roast pig tastes
good. Because I can.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there's a certain amount of that. And I'm curious about the movie side of it, because that was like one of these conventions of hospitality, which is, it's been argued, and I would agree, that this, like, the rules of Greek hospitality are in part why the Iliad happened, why the Odyssey happened.
100%.
Because there were big breaches. You know, and that's like a really clear with the suitors, like the 108 dick bags waiting for Penelope to pick somebody.
Right.
They are clearly breaching hospital. They are assholes. Like, obviously, they are in breach.
Yep.
I'm curious, like, how much that also came up in the movie, which, again, I'm going to keep derailing. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I am curious about the movie side.
It's what the movie's about. They return to this idea of Zeus's law. I don't know if that comes up in the book, but it's essentially it's treat others as you want to be treated. In the context of this, it is treat every person as if they may be a god in disguise, because you never know.
Because in this case, they might be.
And yeah, they like often are. And
10% of the time. Yeah.
I mean, war breaks Zeus's law, and this is about the aftermath of war. So Odysseus had a long Odyssey because he broke Zeus's law.
Like a few times.
Like a lot, yeah.
Well, there's famously a big thing that I'm not going to get into about the books. I have it in my recommendations later on, but a big thing about the books is whose translation you read.
Yeah.
But most of them start with the same line about Odysseus, a complicated man. And I think you could safely argue the bulk of the purpose in this tale is to present character development in the case of Telemachus, and some of the kind of grittier questions of humanity. Not in any philosophical depth, but more just something to make you step back real quick and go, I don't know, is he a good guy? I don't know.
So glad
Am I
to hear
okay
you say that.
with that thing he did? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this could so easily just be a straightforward Robin Hood, fun, problem solve.
Right. And that's kind of
not what we're presented with.
Right. When you mentioned that it's a different book reading it as an adult, I remember it being that sort of problem solve structure and thinking that Odysseus was a real hero. And then watching this movie, and I wonder if that's why people are mad, is because they have that misrepresentation in mind. And I was watching this movie and I was like, oh my God, this is fucked up. Like, Odysseus is kind of a nut. And like, it really sucks for his wife and son who are like rotting on Ithaca, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, right off the bat, the very beginning, the entire problem he has with Poseidon is because the Cyclops is Poseidon's son.
Yep.
Blind him, escape, has correctly given him not his real name. And then his pride and ego could not handle that. And as he escaped, he turned around to taunt the blinded Cyclops and tell him his name. You have been defeated by Odysseus.
Yep.
That's the start of, well, not all of his problems. He had already been with Calypso for 7 years. But yeah, one thing after Circe turns all of his crew into pigs, he goes back to save them. But she offers him to join her in bed, and he takes her up on it first. Like, No, you are consistently like, oh man, that is rough. I mean, literally being buffeted by the gods themselves.
Yeah.
Objectively rough.
Right.
But you're not helping yourself, dude.
Yeah.
The suitors. Oh, go ahead, Greg.
Oh yeah. So I had just started reading the Willis translation, which was 2016 or 17 or whatever. First time a woman's translated it. Go figure. It's really fucking good.
Right.
But I was like, I got through the introduction, which is like 10% of the actual text. And usually I think introductions are stupid, and this one genuinely floored me. And I'm not going to ask permission. I'm just going to read a chunk of it. It's too bad.
Please do.
In some ways, the story told in this long piece of verse is small and ordinary. It is a story, as the first word of the original Greek tells us, about a man. He is not the man, but one of many men, albeit a man of extraordinary cognitive, psychological, and military power, one who can win any competition, blah, 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 blah. The poem tells us how he makes his circuitous way back home across stormy seas after many years at war. We may expect the hero of an epic narrative to confront evil forces, perform superhuman tasks, rescue vast numbers of people, yada, yada. She doesn't say yada, yada, obviously. Failing that, we might hope at least for a great quest unexpectedly achieved. Skipping ahead. In the Odyssey, we find instead the story of a man whose grand adventure is simply to go back to his own home, where he tries to turn everything back to the way it was before he went away. He's some dude. He does suck. Like, there's plenty of ways that he does suck.
Yeah.
And it's like, she had another beat before that part in the intro of the word epic. Its actual root is just like to tell or something like that, or to speak or to say. It is not our current connotation of it has to be this like world changing thing, this huge thing. No, it's some dude who's like held up a half dozen or more times. No, way more than that. Held up several dozen times on his way home. And he's not great. He's not awful. Sometimes he's a little of both.
Yeah.
Just some guy.
Yep. Just a guy.
That's brilliant. Yeah. I wish I had tracked down that translation. I grabbed the first one that the library had available. So I did not get my hands on hers.
I believe that's the one the movie is based on, is her translation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've heard glowing things about it.
So have I, just this week, but yeah.
That's actually all I want to say about the book for now, because I want to leave some of my thoughts for my discussion questions.
Okay, great. Well, then let's take a quick break and we will be right back. Welcome back to Adaptation. We are discussing the Odyssey, written by Homer, quote unquote, I guess. Thank you, Chris, for the rundown of the book. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about some adaptations. Surprisingly, very few adaptations of this. We've talked about a few texts like Frankenstein and Little Women that have had loads and loads and loads of adaptations over the years. There's really only like a dozen-ish adaptations of the Odyssey. I assume because of the scale of the story, it's just very difficult to make this into any kind of coherent film or television series. So what I'm going to do is talk about just a few of those 10 or 12 adaptations, and I'm going to kind of speed through some of them so that we can talk more about this Christopher Nolan version, because it really is the only English language direct adaptation of the Odyssey in history. Well, in film history, I suppose. Because the first adaptation I want to talk about, 1997, there was a 2-part miniseries that aired on NBC. Each episode was an hour and a half long, so it covered the entire story over the course of these 2 episodes. And it was really known for having an international cast. Armand Assante, Isabella Rossellini, Bernadette Peters, Christopher Lee, Vanessa Williams, Eric Roberts, several more people. the casts of these are usually always pretty stacked because it is a true ensemble story with lots of opportunities for people to like show up, make an impression, cash their check, go home. I have seen this miniseries. It was a while ago now. I didn't revisit it before this. I remember it being sort of anticlimactic, and I remember watching it and being like, this is what that whole friggin' book is. Like, it just felt, I assume it was because it was on a TV budget. I was kind of like, that's kind of lame, But for what it's worth, some of the, like, what do you really do with Calypso? That's not a thrilling part of the book, right?
He's there like 7 years.
Right. Yep. Of what basically just sex. Yeah. So I don't, it's not easy to adapt is kind of what I'm getting at here. In the year 2000, we got a movie called Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Very, very famous movie. We referenced it a little bit last week. That one, written and directed by the Coen brothers. It's a very loose adaptation of the Odyssey. And actually, fun fact that I found in my research was that the Coen brothers had never actually read the Odyssey. They just kind of patched it together based on plot points that they learned through, like pop culture osmosis, which I think is really cool. And I did incredible. Rewatch this movie ahead of seeing the Odyssey, and I was like, now it makes sense to me, because I remember watching it in class after reading the Odyssey and being like, most of this doesn't line up. I mean, it is not a one-to-one adaptation by any means whatsoever. I mean, it's about a prisoner in the 1930s traveling across the American South, right? He is trying to get home to his wife, but that's pretty much where the similarities begin and end for the most part. There's a few other things, but
you got the sirens, you got One-Eyed John Goodman.
You do. And there's a lot of things that sort of cover multiple beats. I think that the sirens are similar, I think, to Circe, right? Because they think that they turn the guy into a toad, which is Circe's deal, turning people into animals. Obviously, that's not what happens if you've seen the movie, but I think it's a reference to Circe at the very least. And maybe the Lotus Eaters as well, because they're kind of drugged in that sequence too. So there's a lot of sort of there. Amalgamations, I suppose, within Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Really kind of a bizarre movie. It's also almost a musical. There's so much music in that movie. It's a really weird but cool take. And I think it's kind of what adaptation's all about. You get Dan Kaminsky
to sign on, lean in.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Yeah. And that song is great. I mean, the movie was so successful and the soundtrack was so successful that several artists went on a tour, like a nationwide tour after that movie came out, because the soundtrack was so popular, which is cool.
Like
I think that's cool.
House and Company.
Yeah, exactly. Emmylou Harris, I think, was there. Yeah, a lot of cool people. In 2024, we got a movie called The Return, which is an adaptation of just the last few books. It's Odysseus returning to Ithaca and sort of reclaiming it. And that's got Ralph Fiennes actually as Odysseus, and Juliette Binoche, a very famous French actress, is Penelope. So that's kind of I didn't get a chance to see that one, but an interesting read. From what I understand, it's very solemn and reflective in terms of like Odysseus realizing that it was horrible of him to be away for as long as he was, and the cast is a little bit older, so I think it's supposed to, be a little bit more about lost time and that kind of thing.
Well, a lot of those last three books is really him kind of reckoning with what he's done, obviously to Penelope and Telemachus, but also to Laertes, his dad, missing these years near the end of his life. It gets pretty reflective.
Yeah. So I'm interested to try that one. I was trying to catch up on some Nolan blind spots before this, and then I didn't really want to burn myself out on actual Odyssey stuff, so I just haven't got around to that one. But it's on my list. I'll see it at some point. And that pretty much brings us to Christopher Nolan's adaptation, his follow-up to Oppenheimer, of course, and huge all-star cast. Of course, Anne Hathaway, the patron saint of the podcast this year, plays Penelope, a character that my dog is named after, in fact. Matt Damon plays Odysseus. Tom Holland plays Telemachus. Telemachus. How do you say it? Telemachus.
I say Telemachus. I've heard both.
And I'm gonna, as we get into discussion, I'm gonna have to reference lists of names. You guys will have to bear with me because some of those names, it's like Star Wars. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, it's crazy.
Talking about.
I swear there were multiple mentions of Calypso and Circe through history getting mixed up, which, like, I get it. There's a certain amount of, like,
yeah.
But yeah, genuinely, again, as I'm like just trolling through Wikipedia, there's multiple spots where they're like, well, this island that is supposedly Circe's island was also confused to be Calypso. It's like,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, there's this.
Even in our prep for this one, I had put a poll on our Instagram asking who the best villain was, and I didn't include Circe or Calypso because I knew that one was a little less of a villain. Like, ultimately, Calypso, I think, is lonely and misunderstood, and I couldn't remember who was who. So I was like, well, I guess I won't put either. If I say the wrong woman, then I'm a real dick, like.
Right.
So I just left him out, and Chris responded to that story, and you were like, where is Circe? And I was like, I don't know which one she is. So I couldn't put it. Fair. That's why I didn't have her on the story, even though I think Circe is objectively probably the best villain in the book, in the story.
Who played her in the movie?
A woman named Samantha Morton, very talented actress. It is probably the best part of the movie. It is insane. Anyway, before we dive into discussion question, this is likely to be one of the most celebrated movies of the year, if not the decade. Currently at a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, critic score with a 97% audience score, 89 on Metacritic, which is the one that we've talked about is a little bit better indicator of actual quality, more so than Rotten Tomatoes. So huge. It made a shit ton of money on Thursday night too. We're recording this for everybody's reference the Saturday following the release of the movie, so I don't have any real box office information, but it made a boatload on Thursday. It was the year's highest Thursday night previews of the year. Yeah. And it's coming above projections too. So this is going to be a big movie, partly because the marketing campaign, you can't escape. It's like a Barbie level event.
Honestly.
But it's phenomenal. And like I said, I haven't read the book in years. I did watch a recap video, and it was only like a 10-minute recap that sort of hit the main points, basically the islands where he ended up stranded. And I'm glad I did. And just because there were a lot of things there's so many characters in this. I don't know if I would have known who Athena was in this movie if I hadn't watched that recap, which is maybe a flaw of the movie, that it didn't over-explain some things and not others. But it's also just such a huge story. I mean, it's on such an enormous scale that we don't have stories like this in any medium, really.
Yes.
Like I said, it's this and the Bible. As far as movies go, it's this and Lawrence of Arabia, maybe Lord of the Rings as a whole, if you could combine all three, 10 Commandments, that kind of thing. Like, we just don't see movies like this often. So it's really, really fucking cool. And I'm so glad that I loved it as much as I did. And I don't want to spoil anything because there are some big changes from the book, but I think that they are done to, if I say truncate things, I don't want anybody to wig out, because I think they were all very smart. They were very intentional. Like the way Poseidon gets pissed off, there actually is no Poseidon in the movie.
Interesting.
He's like, there is no character of Poseidon. They do make him mad, and that makes the journey difficult, but there is no actor cast to play Poseidon. So the way that the Cyclops sequence ends, and we learn that Poseidon is angry, is a little bit different, but I think it's probably going to end up being an easier pill to swallow than the book, which, by the way, is a religious text. This was a religion that people believed in at the time that it was created. So there's a little bit more familiarity with some of those like tertiary at best characters like Poseidon and Zeus. who
infinitely more familiarity.
Yeah.
These would all have been cultural expectations at the time.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just like we know Jesus and Muhammad and other religious figures. But yeah, that's kind of what I want to say about the movie. I'm happy to answer questions, but I don't want to spoil too much if I can avoid it. So I want to kick it to Greg first. Do you have discussion questions that you wanted to throw out there?
Well, I'm very curious about how the movie starts, and if it's just going to spoil it, then tell me. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
but that feels like Chris kind of touched on that in the book. You're just like in media res.
Yeah.
I think you actually start with Telemachus, but like the first time you see Odysseus, it's like we're like 3/4 of the way through the journey.
Yeah, you're a ways in.
Yeah.
So like my expectation with the movie is probably not just this linear thing.
Correct.
I don't know if you're comfortable answering. Okay.
Yes. Let me bear with me here while I stumble through this answer. It is not told in a linear fashion. Christopher Nolan does not really do linear stories because he likes to feel smarter than everybody watching his movies.
Fair. Yeah.
But it unfolds. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but did you say that a lot of the book is Odysseus recounting the Odyssey to somebody?
Yeah, so exactly what Greg said. I want to say this might be exaggerating, but at least the first 6 books, we are just in Ithaca. We do not see Odysseus. It's just Penelope and Telemachus and the suitors. And then he is 5/6 of the way through his trials and is at the court of another king and recounts it. And that's how we hear the bulk of his quest, his journey.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we're like 15 years in or something.
So the movie, if I'm remembering correctly, it's a 3-hour-long movie. So asking me about the beginning is also a chore. I believe it does open with Telemachus, and Penelope is sort of this cloud that hangs over things for a portion of the beginning in a really cool way. And then we cut to Odysseus recounting the story to a different character and for a different reason. That again does that sort of truncation that I was talking about. It makes the story smoother. I think it helps boost a character that in 2026 needed some tender love and care, right? A character that needed a little image rehabilitation. He's talking to Calypso and telling her the story. Okay. I think it makes his interaction with Calypso a billion times more interesting. I think it makes her character more interesting. I've seen a lot of people say that they don't love Charlize Theron plays Calypso, and a lot of people are saying that they didn't love her performance, and I thought it was out of this world. I thought it was a really cool marriage with the material to tell this story. So yes, it's out of order. It's bolstered by Telemachus also going on an adventure to try and find out whether his father's alive. So we learn some sort of supporting stories that assist in our understanding of Odysseus's overall arc. But yes, out of order. A lot of vignettes, like you were saying.
No, I'm actually glad you brought that up, Greg. I wrote that down to talk about in my reflection on like very much an oral history someone finally wrote down. I also kind of imagine pre-writing, it was probably given like this. Each individual probably had their order that they like to say it in. Oh, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you were hearing a full telling, which again could not be possible in one sitting, but you would probably get, oh yeah, this guy talks about these parts first, and then this guy opens up with the suitors. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's probably canonically more accurate, that Nolan did not feel beholden to exactly how the text unfolds.
Right. And very few of well, this is the exact point that you're getting at. Very few of the events directly lead to the next event. You know what I mean? Obviously, pissing off Zeus and Poseidon is like a bad idea for anybody. And those had to be at the beginning of the story. But what happens on Circe's island doesn't have any bearing on what happens on Calypso's island or on the sun god Isle, right? Yep. So they could feasibly have been patched together in a different order. In fact, I was pretty surprised that the climax of the movie was not Scylla and Charybdis. That I thought that's what was going to be, the sort of centerpiece of the movie, just based on the fact that it was two dangerous situations, and it seems like they could have stretched that out. If it was like a true action movie, which this kind of isn't, that's maybe like the third or fourth genre that I would assign to this.
Interesting.
That probably would have been the climax of the story, but that's not exactly the case. Yeah. You seem a little confuddled, Chris.
No, I see your point. Like, I very much expected Hollywood to treat this like Troy, like the coolest part is Brad Pitt fighting Legolas.
Yeah.
But in my mind, again, as Greg said, if this will spoil, just say no. I don't see any way that the climax of any adaptation of this is not him stringing his bow, firing it through the axe heads, and going ham.
Oh, just clearing house.
Yes, I guess I meant climax of the Odyssey home itself.
Okay, I see.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Retaking Ithaca is the crown jewel of the story.
It has to be. It has to be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it is cool. And don't get me wrong, if you're listening to this and bummed that I said it's not an action movie, there are cool action scenes. It's just also, I don't even know. It's like a political thriller on the Penelope side of things. It's an adventure, like globe-trotting story. It's a fantasy story. It's a lot of things in addition to being an action movie.
It has to be. It has to be, because the story has all of that.
Yep.
Okay, so this is why I didn't want to discuss the suitors too much earlier. When I first read this, they made no sense to me at all, right? As a, probably 15-year-old or something, I was like, what?
Sure.
I was indignant. What the heck are these dudes doing in his house? That's his wife. Back off. We need to pragmatically step back and say, picture right here now, the year of our Lord, 2026, someone's spouse goes overseas to war and has been missing for 20 years. I don't think you're batting an eye if they choose to remarry.
No.
And so it's perhaps an unanswerable question, but I'm very curious about your takes. I think, and like, they're objectively bad. It's tough to have sympathy, but I do think the situation of the suitors is nowhere near as black and white as it sounds on the surface. How did you guys take that aspect?
Greg, you want to take that one first?
Yeah, I mean, this kind of ties into one of the big themes I had of this is one of the ways that this story super is not relatable. Current time, super not relatable. But this like concept of a journey. So Odysseus probably knew he was just going to be deuces for 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I got to go to war. My buddy Agamemnon, and we gotta go get somebody. Sorry, brand new baby Telemachus, but Papa's going to be gone for a few years. See you when you're walking and talking. Like, there's just this certain amount of, that was the expectation.
Yes.
No, I'm certain he didn't think like, oh yeah, I'll be gone and then I'll be harried around on end for 20 years. Like,
right.
But for us, it's so condensed. The thought of it, like, think of a journey. Mm-hmm. Chris is one of the people in my life that I can be like, yep, that dude has had journeys. But that's like, you taught English for a year or two or whatever it was. Well, for most people, yeah, that's a journey. That's a lot. Or like you moved around for a while before you landed in Denver. Like, well, that's a journey. I had maybe like a journey, I studied abroad. Like, this concept of being away, being just you off on your own somewhere else, not tied to your family, your home, your whatever. The gap is so huge. It's like, I was trying to think of like what would qualify as a journey nowadays, like what the minimum would be.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys' weekend and somebody I'm picking on Chris again. Someone's appendix burst, so we're gonna be here for another week. Like, that's a journey.
Yeah.
Modern times versus then it was like, oh yeah, well, I'll be gone for 4 years minimum. So I do think there's a certain amount of like the expectations for the suitor. That's where I think we do get into the gray area of like, buddy's been gone for 20 years. I'm the third son of whatever dickhead, and I want my own island. It's time to get in line here. Let's see if Penelope wants some of this. And I don't have tons of sympathy for them. I think they suck, and I can't wait to get to my cast list because I think you're going to know why. But there's a certain amount of like it. I think in that time scale, in that time, 20 years, we can move on here. That's a little much. We can move on here. If it was 5 years, man, all right, these guys are real assholes. Give it some time. But yeah, I think that's valid. That like, dude, it's been 2 decades. Like, but there's also these other dynamics in there of,
yes,
I forget what it was exactly, but like for her to go back to her father's home, you had to like pay a bride price or something. Sorry, there's fireworks going off in my neighborhood on 18th of July. Anyway, but there are these other like cultural norms that complicate it. But there's a certain, dude, it's 20 years.
Yep.
What are we doing?
Yeah, that is something I wish the movie had spent just a tiny bit more time with Penelope. And I remember feeling this way about the book too, because I understand that there's a romance to her staying unmarried for all of those years, and that she feels in her heart that Odysseus has not died yet, or she doesn't have enough proof that he has died to move on. But I do wish that we would have explored that just a little bit more, the political side of that. Like, what does it really mean to give up Ithaca? There is one line where Robert Pattinson plays sort of the lead suitor. Is it like Antonius or something like that? And
I honestly deliberately did not pay attention to their names. I was like, I don't know
about you guys. Antonius, and there's like one other one.
Anyway, yeah, he's suitor number one, right? And he makes a reference to like, Telemachus will still be king unless you and I have a baby. And that's when everything sort of shifts and Penelope sort of goes beast mode. And, so when I guess what I'm getting at is that it's complicated, and I wish that we could have explored the politics a little bit more just to make that a little bit richer, because in the movie they are just slimy, sniveling, nasty motherfuckers. There's not a lot of dynamicism there outside of the moments where they try to be really showy. They're witty, you know what I mean? They like to knock Telemachus down a couple pegs when they can, but maybe a little bit underexplored.
Well, we need that device as well to show his personal growth journey when he finally starts to stand up for them and talk about, no, you're in my house, that beggar can stay, right?
Yeah, yes.
Like it's for a good reason. The more I thought about it, exactly how you described it, Greg. Yeah, if someone just said, I'm going on a spirit quest to Tibet, I'll see you in a year, I'd be like, wow, I'm not going to see them for a whole year. That's crazy. 20 years?
Right. That's a lot.
Come on.
I know, a lot changes, a lot happens. They're lucky Penelope didn't like get sick, or Telemachus didn't fall off the friggin' cliff or something,
Child mortality rates? Are you kidding me?
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Life expectancy in 700 BC.
This dude could have fallen down the wrong rocky slope, and that's that. You don't have a son.
That's true. Funny. Okay, so I noticed this. We talked a little bit earlier about how we kind of see Odysseus as a more complicated guy than we did when we were 15 or whatever, when we were reading this. It's crazy. Why are there so many fireworks going off?
I'm gonna mute if I'm gonna keep doing this. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Whoa, train of thought. Okay, so what I was thinking while I was watching the movie, I wondered if Chris, if you were going to be totally pissed off were you reading this and decide that you didn't like Odysseus, because we've talked in past episodes on this podcast that when a protagonist is sort of in the gray, those tend to not be your favorite stories or characters to follow. I was kind of curious how you felt about it in this one.
Oh, I was pissed. I rage put it down when he got out of the Cyclopses, because I remembered the big peaks. I did not remember the details of, oh, buddy, you were home scot-free if you did not turn around and open your dumb mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, I was furious.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was completely blindsided by how mad I was at Odysseus.
Really?
I skated straight past all of that 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, nah, dude, you should be doing everything you can to get home. You already spent 7 years getting essentially date raped. Like, yeah, I guess nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
But come on.
Yeah.
You could have just gotten on that boat and left, dude. And I did feel for him. I think the difficulty with appropriately setting your level of anger towards him is like when the bag of wind is opened up or when they're on Helios's island. It is also the treachery of his fellow man. And yes. I read into that both he's hard done by, but also I believe it was deliberate in the, you become like those you surround yourself with.
Oh.
Those are the guys he chose to go to war with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So they turn out to be douchebags. Hey, buddy, should we take a look in the mirror?
Yeah, pot kettle situation.
Yeah, in this case, it bothered me far less because it wasn't like Caught Stealing, we had like 4 characters to dissect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In this case, there was such a sheer volume of things going on. We're still flashing back to Ithaca and checking in on what's happening there. Okay. It bothered me less, but I do think I feel like they are 2 distinct things. Telemachus is a story of like growth and reckoning with who you are as an individual. Odysseus is more like a painting, a snapshot of a flawed man. And that I have less trouble with.
Okay.
What about Penelope? Where does she land for you? Because for me, those are like the 3 real story arcs.
For sure.
Yeah. And it's like coming of age for Telemachus. I don't know, dicking around for Odysseus. And Penelope, there's like, especially then, this like, how do I hold on to my dignity and my station and power when I am disincentivized? I'm a woman. This is not my game. Like, I don't know how I would define hers though. Maybe thriller, spy, political thrillers is what you had said earlier, I think, Nate.
Yeah.
I mean, I picture her walking a tightrope, right? She is surrounded by hungry wolves, and every day she's got to do. I mean, it's actually a little bit unfortunate. The book paints her, I think, in a somewhat unfair light. And, Athena's got her hands in there dabbling a bit much, but her agency is kind of taken away even more than you would expect. But I feel nothing but sympathy for her. And that's why I was so glad that it was our girl, Ms. Hathaway, because that's just the girl I want to feel nothing but sympathy and love for anyway.
Right. Well, and that's kind of why I think Matt Damon was interesting casting as well, because he's sort of like America's dad. You know what I mean? He's so easy to root for that even though you're watching him just dive headfirst into his own fucking hubris, that you still are like, I just want you to go. Like, I just want this to work out for you, even though there were moments where like I said, I was watching it and I was like, I bet you Chris hates Odysseus because he's making like boneheaded mistake after boneheaded mistake.
Stuff. But who amongst us doesn't?
Right. That's true too.
I would place Tom Hanks as America's dad. I would place Matt Damon as America's, like, he's probably your favorite uncle.
Yeah.
But like, buddy, you really gotta stop using gay as a derogatory term.
We don't do that.
Sure.
Fair. I agree. Can we actually take that transition for our dream casting of this particular ensemble?
Oh, sure, yeah. Do you guys have lists? I didn't make lists.
No, I told Greg to.
Okay.
I'm strapped.
I would go. I honestly. Oh, you wanted mine to be off the dome? Okay. Whoa! Did frickin' Odysseus arrive in your neighborhood or something? What's going on over there?
More like Zeus.
No kidding.
Someone else should go because they're going for it now.
Okay. Chris, do you have some?
Only the exact ones that you are probably already aware of and will disagree with.
What do you mean? Like you want Ron Perlman to play the friggin'
I want Tim Curry as Zeus.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
I want John Goodman as the first suitor.
Oh, okay.
Just being smarmy and slinky and waddling around like it's already his palace.
Yeah. Are we talking about like 1989, or you want this to be the case now? Those are two very old gentlemen.
I'm picturing Tim Curry from Clue or Three Musketeers.
Okay.
And John Goodman from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Okay. Got it.
I want Gisele Bündchen as Penelope and Calypso and Circe.
Because you just want to look at her for 3 hours? Yeah.
Who would Tom Holland feels weird for Telemachus, but I don't know. I want like mid-90s Richard Gere for Telemachus.
Mid-90s Richard Gere. Okay.
And then who's the British guy from About a Boy and Love Actually? Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant, yeah.
That's who I want for Odysseus.
You want Hugh Grant to play Odysseus?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Just fumbling over himself, doing silly things, and making that little Muppet face he makes when he goes, yes, I suppose that was my fault.
Okay, so you would have a comedic take on the Odyssey.
Yeah. Okay. Just really lean into the absurdity.
Okay.
Just saw my wife walking back from the alley, so I'm pretty sure she was yelling at someone.
Oh, hell yeah.
They're still going. That's fine. We're going to run through it. All right. Idris Elba for Agamemnon.
Ooh, that's cool. Ooh. I like that.
We get to have his younger brother, Menelaus, be Coleman Domingo.
I like that a lot.
Incredible.
Yep.
I don't really like Zendaya. I don't give a shit. I don't get it.
No.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I don't get it.
I need to go.
But I would give Athena to Carey Mulligan because every movie that lacks her is worse for her absence. And I just want her to get to work on that EGOT.
Interesting.
She was in The Dig. That's the one that I always think of for her. But she's incredible. She's fantastic.
Yeah, she is a very good actor. Yeah.
Whatever. I'm fine with Lupita. I think she's a good shot for Helen.
I think so too, and it worked really well.
Statuesque. She's a smoke show.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway gets to stay.
Yeah.
You bet I would sail 20
I'm on board with that.
Hathaway.
Yep.
Yeah.
As we all would.
Goth also gets to stay. Perfect balance of like creepy and cute to be the like backstabbing handmaid or whatever.
Yeah. Her role was bizarrely small. I wonder if some of it got cut. I was like, why did she even take this role, to be honest?
Because she was the love interest in the most recent Frankenstein with Oscar Isaacs.
Yep.
Who should have been Odysseus?
That's a good Odysseus.
That'd be a phenomenal Odysseus.
That would be cool.
Phenomenal Odysseus.
I'm fine with Matt Damon. Like, I kind of get it. It's whatever.
Yeah.
If you get Oscar Isaacs as Odysseus, he's like 50s, maybe 60 now. You can have Paul Mescal as Telemachus. And
I don't mind that.
I kind of like that.
You might have to give Gracie Abrams a part, which I don't think we want. But like Paul Mescal's, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Oh, what else? Who have I missed? Oh, the Cyclopses. I want it to be Maddie Matheson, and whatever other Cyclops that's on screen can be Action Bronson. Don't cover up any tattoos.
Maddie Matheson, Action Bronson, and Brad Leone.
Hell yeah. Just a bunch of dipshits. I love it. Action Bronson would get so many verses out of that. You kidding me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. Let me hear. How would you guys feel about this one for a whirl? How do you think Florence Pugh would do as Penelope?
Well, I think at this point she's too young. She's like my age, but yeah,
is she really?
Yeah, or between you and I probably. But I think down the line she'd be a pretty good one.
So jumping ahead a little.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before that, I think Lena Headey got robbed. Should have been Cersei, the woman who plays Cersei in Game of Thrones. Come on.
It would have been cool. It would have been cool.
And she was in 300, I think.
I think she was. Yeah, she was actually.
But yeah, I was kind of noodling on Florence for Calypso. I did go a different direction. I'm pretty sure Calypso is canonically thick. So like, I love Charlize Theron, but like, she hasn't been thick since 2003. So like,
wait till you see the Odyssey.
Okay.
Well, really?
All I'm saying is if I was Matt Damon, I wouldn't have made it off the island.
Yeah. Fair enough. But yeah, that for me was a jump ball between Salma Hayek and J-Lo. So.
Oh. I was just going to say J-Lo would have, yeah.
J-Lo is actually, that's kind of an interesting shout. I wonder if they could write it in a way for her. Because she can turn it on sometimes. Like 1 out of 10 J-Lo performances is a good performance. You know?
Yeah, she can
Made in Manhattan. Top 10 movies ever.
My last piece was The Suitors. So Robert Pattinson, excellent villain.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
He gets to stay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude, he's gonna inherit what the hell is his name? Luke Skywalker's actor does so much.
Hamill?
Yeah. He does so much villain voiceover. Robert Pattinson is inheriting. He's such a good voice actor for villainous, like dickbags or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets to stay dickhead suitor number 1. I'd also submit the following men as excellent options to fill out our other, just like the top couple, because there's like 100 suitors.
Yeah.
T.J. Miller, James Franco, Armie Hammer, Dan Masterson, Kevin Spacey, Jared Leto, Johnny Depp, and I'm not done. Singer, songwriter, song stealer, Ryan Adams. I don't want him to get a check. Obviously, I don't want him to get a check.
Oh my god!
But you can do like AI Happy Valley and get close, and then we all get to watch Kevin Spacey take one through the skull.
That would be kind of cool, actually.
I'm 100% on board with that.
You know,
we can see our Uncle Matt Damon blasting down Me Too dickheads.
Yeah. Mel Gibson could be in there.
Oh, sitting in the back.
Yep. You got a good age range between them. I don't know if we're going to get Bill Cosby out of jail for this one or out of house arrest, but like,
whoa, that's what AI's for.
Just pops in exclusively to take a stool to the back of the dome, and then he's out again.
Yeah,
and like, just reserve $100 million for your "we got sued" budget. Just like,
just be ready.
Just set aside a chunk of money for all these litigious pederasts out there, all these creeps that think they're going to win a legal case. And also, fuck Ryan Adams is the other thought. I don't remember if he got Me Too, but just fuck him.
Fair. Agreed.
That was crazy.
And I think the fireworks show's done too.
Yeah, well, you were the finale, I think.
Nate, I want yours. I want to hear some of yours.
Okay,
I want to hear some of yours.
I've been trying to stress think for the last 2 minutes because I literally saw this movie 48 hours ago. So it's going to be tough for me to think of
picture other people.
Other people, but
Fair.
let me just scroll through like some of
that's why I didn't tell you when I told Greg. I want your like off the cuff.
Yeah, okay. Well, one person that did pop into my head for Penelope could be Zoe Saldana. I thought she's done some interesting stuff, and I'd love to see her take.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I wonder if Calypso could be Penelope Cruz.
Hell yeah.
Easily.
Yes. 1,000 times yes.
Let's see. Maybe like, what are all the giants called that are like warriors that beat them up really quickly?
Titans? Which part?
They're like cannibal giants or something.
Oh yeah, that's like right. The weird village he goes to. Yeah. No, that's literally what they are. I don't remember.
That's like 45 Dave Bautistas. He plays them all.
Okay. Yeah.
And they do no discernible changes to any of them.
Right. Yeah. It's all just clones.
Can one be Vin Diesel?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Why not?
And one's Pitbull.
Yeah. Pitbull. What the hell?
No, I'm just naming bald men.
That's insane. Let me think about this. Okay. I actually didn't really care for Tom Holland's performance, so I would like to see. I kind of like Paul Mescal for Telemachus. Maybe like Josh O'Connor would be cool. Man, I don't know. It's so hard because I can only picture the cast of this movie. Maybe like,
who's that British guy?
Which British guy?
The Jackal.
Oh, Eddie Redmayne. He could be an interesting suitor.
Oh, he'd be a great suitor.
You could throw all the Skarsgårds in there.
Oh, that's actually, yeah. Alexander Skarsgård could be a cool Odysseus if you went a little bit younger, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly, there was really the only performance I had any issue with was Tom Holland's for the most part, which is just a case of like a 30-year-old dude acting opposite some of the greatest actors that have been working for as long as he's been alive, right? Like it's not really a flaw of the movie. It's just inherently he was the least talented guy on set. Yeah, that's fun though.
Yeah.
I kind of like
I would have said
Chris.
I would have said Timmy Chalamet, but like 5 years ago. He sucks too much now.
Yeah, I'm so tired of seeing him. He would have been an interesting Telemachus. He would have been too aggressive. He can never look like, I don't think he ever would have taken that role. I don't think he likes to get stepped on.
Right. It needs to start out weak and timid.
Yeah. And he doesn't do that. Interesting. Okay, well, should we dive into recommendations and ratings?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Greg, who do you recommend the Odyssey to? Or like, how would you recommend it to somebody?
If you're a sophomore in high school, you have no choice.
Take an English class. Yeah, that's true.
Cross your fingers to read the Willis. I forget her first name. Emily?
Yeah.
Read the Willis translation. It's already better than the whatever old dead Dick Farter actually read.
Find which one I got.
Polymer. I read Polymer. Who cares? But yeah, it's fun. And I think if you approach it as like, if you approach it with a little bit of context, which that newest translation actually gives you in the intro,
yeah,
it actually is probably pretty enjoyable, even if you are forced to read it for class.
Right.
And I'm pumped to watch the movie. I haven't seen
I'm so excited to hear what you guys think of it.
I can't wait.
Chris, who do you recommend it to?
Actually, you really already brought up all of the points that I have. The problem for me is it's so long. You're already familiar with all of it.
Yeah.
My recommendation, I mean, if you are already super big on the epic adventure side or Greek mythology, I think you'll enjoy it. What I would say is maybe choose a book or two from it and read like multiple translations side by side. And if one really speaks to you, then commit to that one for the full thing.
Oh,
I
interesting.
would be so hard pressed to just tell someone, here's a copy of it. I think you'll love it.
Yeah.
Because it's so long. There's so many parts that we've already heard. And I think you really need to spend some time with this text to get the reading it aspect,
Yeah.
as opposed to just seeing the movie or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. I think I'm in a similar boat where I'm like, I don't know. I had a really hard time in the notes for both the recommendations and the ratings that we'll get to in a minute here. Because this is so unusual for so many reasons. It's like I mentioned, we don't get movies like this often. So I think if you want to support cinema as an art form, you should go see this movie. And there's also a lot of sort of historical context around this. This is the first movie ever to be shot entirely in IMAX, which means that they had to invent cameras to shoot this movie. Like it's a similar historical milestone as to like the Avatar movies, where they're developing technology that can benefit, potentially the entire world if we've found the right way to apply it. But they're developing technology to create something that you've never seen and experienced before. So to not see it, you got to have like a stick up your butt to not see it at some point. But if that's the case, you probably have read this in high school. You probably know whether you're interested in seeing this movie
fair.
or not, between that and this marketing blitz that they're on. So I guess I'm saying figure it out for yourself.
That's such a cop out.
I know, but really,
no, don't give him that, Craig. No.
But really, though, I think people know whether they're interested or not.
Fair.
And yeah, I think if you waited to watch it at home, you'd be friggin' nuts. But if that's the only way you're, not everybody has access to theaters or premium format theaters or anything like that. So do what you can.
Okay. I don't know which part to ask Greg to rate. I don't know. Rate the idea of the Odyssey itself.
Well,
on whatever scale you choose.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. 4 stars. No, I mean, it depends on if I had the choice in high school of, all right, you can either read it or watch it. You fucking bet I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I'm going to watch it. Like I've said, the little bit I've read of this other translation is great. We'll see how I feel at the end of it. But so far, I'd say like a 4-ish out of 5.
Great.
Yeah.
But again, there's the context of I grew up loving Greek mythology, and I do research for fun. So like I'm a pervert. Take that nugget of salt with that 4-star rating.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
Greg the pervert.
Well, I think you're exactly who it's for.
I'm a research pervert. I'm here for it. Looking up all these gods' names and epithets and whatever's.
Yeah. Okay.
What did Letterboxd get, Nate?
Letterboxd. Well, let me preface what Letterboxd got, because similar to my recommendations, this is a hard movie to rate and evaluate because there is so few comparable texts, right? Like I told you, my favorite movie of the year is The Invite, or my other favorite, which is a chamber piece with 4 people in one apartment. And I don't know how to reckon loving both of those movies as much as I do and thinking they're both as perfect as I think they are, because they're doing such enormously different things. And like, I hate to boil it down to this, but Christopher Nolan had a harder time making the movie than Olivia Wilde, who directed The Invite, did making hers. That's just the nature of the movies themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But all of that being said, I gave it a 4.5. I do think there are, and a heart. I do think there are some minor flaws that can kind of pile up. They're all ones sort of like the Tom Holland thing that I mentioned, where you're kind of like, alone, it's not really worth talking about. But once you spot, 5 or 6 maybe of those kind of tiny ones, you're like, okay, so it's not Walk on Water perfect, but it's
Uh-huh.
damn good. And I'm just really surprised to hear that like book internet is not happy with it, because I felt overwhelmingly positive about it.
It's some pretty specific things. I believe, if I'm correct, the movie Calypso does not drug him, right? He just like stays there.
That's not how I would describe it.
Okay. Also, I believe in the movie Penelope locks up the weapons, not Telemachus, whatever.
I guess she gives the order, but like servants do it. I mean,
so these are minor things. That's why I say I think it's just Book Talk doing Book Talk things,
okay.
being nitpicky,
Yeah.
and trying to read into what does that do to the characters.
Yeah.
Where like end of the day, was it still a cool story? You know,
right. And like I said, all of the changes that I spotted, with the exception of the very, very end, does have a very massive change that I was like, wow, this actually does kind of recontextualize how you digest the story. But all of the little changes throughout, they made sense to me as somebody that has read the book, knows how difficult it is to fit a massive story into a digestible movie, which could only be 3 hours, by the way, because IMAX projectors can only work for 3 hours before they like explode or whatever the hell, catch on fire. So he had a hard limit, a really hard limit.
wow.
It's not like he could have made Lawrence of Arabia, which is like a 4 or 5 hour movie. So everything makes sense to me, and I think he was very deliberate. It really makes me sad that Book Talk is doing that, because I have a complicated relationship with Chris Nolan, and I was really won over by this movie because it seemed like he'd listened to some criticisms of particularly Oppenheimer, but his career in general. For example, he's not great with women characters. He's not a very good writer of women characters. I think that the women in this story are very well written, and I think that's because he paid attention to people saying that he's not good at writing women.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
So it makes me really sad that he tried to correct some of these things and is still getting pooped on.
Well, that's tough, because that's kind of how Penelope is in the book. And so then for him to reckon with, how do I change this image of myself when to be true to the text would be to follow that line that I've already established.
Yeah, well, right. And that's why this seems like the perfect movie for him to adapt. Like when it was announced that he was doing the Odyssey, I was like, of course he's doing the Odyssey. All of his movies are about tormented men trying to get home. That's what Interstellar is. That's what Inception is. That's what Oppenheimer also is about, reckoning with changing the world and potentially making a mistake. They're all the same movies. All of his movies are. So
Batman,
this made
it's
sense.
about trying to get home.
Yeah.
Batman 2 about sorry. You're an asshole.
So interesting. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think of the movie. So be sure to let me know when you do see it. I
can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Okay.
I need to. Well, this leaves me with somehow the lowest rating of the squad.
Oh yeah.
Because Goodreads does not have halves.
Yeah.
It got a 3 for me.
Whoa.
It would very much be a 3.5. It's just, if you're not into Greek mythology specifically, I would have a hard time recommending this to you.
Sure.
And then outside of that part, as you already alluded to, Nate, if you're coming to the story for intrigue, for family drama, for adventuring, for a giant pissed off pantheon, or just character development, there are better examples available of each one.
Okay.
And it is super cool and epic that this one contains them all.
Yeah.
But it inherently, therefore, does not do the best at any of those things.
Okay. Yeah, that makes it's a jack of all trades, right?
Yes. And if that's what you're here for, if you loved Anna Karenina and Pachinko and you want to sit for a long time with one text, yes, I think you'll enjoy this. But in terms of like book club, I absolutely could not pitch this to book club. It's 550 pages.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
there's a sort of logistical limit there.
Oh, totally.
I was just talking to someone yesterday. One of my buddies, and he was like, yeah, I'm just not big on mythology, Norse mythology, Greek mythology, Roman. And I'm like, perfect. I think you would hate this book.
Yeah.
So it's just a little too particular in some ways and then a little too broad in others.
Right.
Not a bad book. I'm not unhappy I reread it.
Yeah.
I'm in fact quite pleased I reread it, but not top 5 this year or anything.
Okay. Wow. It's very, very insightful. I'm surprised by that, but I'm glad to hear that it was like, that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Well, modern writing has become what it is for a good reason.
Right.
I would hope after 3,000 years of practice, we've gotten a little better.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's an adaptation in the first place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I think the story itself is worth experiencing.
It is the greatest story ever told. It is.
Yeah, you don't got to read it though. No. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? If someone put back together some weird East Village avant-garde BS where you go sit in a dimly lit basement bar full of candles and 24 nights in a row somebody performs this to me as an oration, yeah, I'm here for that.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah.
But as the text, yeah, exactly as you said, Greg, this is already a bastardization of how it's intended to be consumed.
And there's a very cool tribute to that in the movie. Travis Scott, the rapper, has a very, very small role in the movie as a bard who tells stories, I believe, to the suitors. I think he's in the room entertaining the suitors.
I wrote this word down as a rhapsodist.
Okay.
Is what they call them.
These sort of musical storytellers? Okay.
The individuals that would go around. Yeah.
Interesting.
You just call them rappers.
That's where the word rapper comes from.
It really might.
From the ancient Greek rhapsodist. It honestly could.
Well,
that'd be cool.
I mean,
that'd be a fun.
Chris Nolan talked about, that was a weird announcement that Travis Scott, who doesn't really act all that much, was going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
And he had to address it. Chris Nolan did. And he was like, this is a verbal story. And what is today's version of a verbal storyteller, but a rapper? You know? So yes, he's in the movie and he's good. I mean, he has like 60 seconds of screen time, but he's good. It makes sense. It works. I can't wait to see it. Yeah. I'm really excited to hear what you guys think. Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I don't think Chris and I have actually nailed down what our next one is for sure yet. So stay tuned. But thank you for joining us for this conversation. Thank you, Greg. This was so great to have you. And we look forward to having you again in the future. Just let us know if a book or adaptation is interesting to you.
Someone takes a run at Beowulf again.
Okay.
We just make classics.
Yeah.
Grendel, I would do in a heartbeat. Favorite book.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Good to know.
We'll see about that.
Well, we'll find some spots in the schedule for that. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode. And please get out to the theater to see Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. And thank you for listening. See you next time.
Bye.